is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
Joining us is the host, and I happen to listen to this show every morning, and to the point of disgust. So because I don't agree with everything he says, but there's something charmingly insecure, really smart, and very lovable about Sydney Rosenberg. WABC Radio.
People are tired of what Wendy Williams is going through, and of course, my dear friend Joe Tacopina is doing his best to get her out of it. So with that said, let me bring him on. The great defense attorney, my friend for the better part of 47 years, my brother Joseph Tacopina. Joseph, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
I'm great. And, of course, the worldwide superstar, beloved and revered everywhere, Wendy Williams. Good morning, Wendy.
How you doing? Look, I love your intro song. I love it.
Yeah,
Hi, everyone.
They wrote that just for you, just so you know. They wrote that song just for you, Wendy. So we'll start with you, Wendy, then we'll get to Joseph. Look, there's a lot of folks out there that believe what you're going through is completely unfair. They saw you on Page 6 a couple of days ago. They hear me talking about you. They hear Joseph Tacopina talking about you. And we are constantly saying, she looks great. She sounds great. She's ready to get back to life.
About dementia?
Right, dementia. I mean, to speak about that.
No, there's nothing to speak about. I mean, I don't know the doctor that has actually said that, and my attorneys and I are pissed. And, all I can tell is that I feel fabulous. I am me. I am doing my thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, you and again, I've had multiple phone conversations with you. I saw you publicly less than a month ago, and it's the same Wendy I knew 5 years ago. So what's going on here, Wendy? What is behind all this?
Look, I don't want to do a lot of talking, but this is the Guardian thing, and there's a lot of accusations going around. And I'm sure, Joe, you can speak on that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, Sid, let me say this as clearly as possible. This so-called new medical diagnosis that's being leaked about Wendy, which is in violation of the HIPAA laws, we'll get to that in a second. Mm-hmm. It's a lie. It's false, okay? And the leak itself is a disgrace. It's not about medicine. This case is not about medicine, because we're speaking to Wendy right now. I've been doing this with her for a year, better part of a year. And I never had a conversation where I'm thinking, geez, maybe she has some form of dementia. Not even once. I mean, I think I'm more prone to forget things than Wendy is. Okay? So it's not about medicine, it's about manipulation. And it's a weapon being used by those who profit, and I say that clearly, profit from keeping Wendy under an abusive guardianship situation she does not need.
Mm-hmm. Wendy, I want you to tell the people, and I agree, I often compare your situation to Mike Tyson and Don King. When King set up Tyson, set him up, he never raped that girl and took all his money. Somebody's doing that to you, too. I know that's the case. But tell me, your daily life in this building, I think you told me once, you can't even go down 2 floors to the gym unless somebody takes you.
Yes, and I work out today, by the way. I work out 3 times a week. My body is hitting and holding, but that's what I do. So it's not an unnormal thing not to work out. It's just that I'm in this dump. Where I am, it's way too expensive, and all I get is a kitchen, living room, and dining room. I'm on the memory unit where people don't remember anything. So where do you think I eat? Not with those people. I mean, they're nice people, but they belong here. They don't remember. I do. This is expensive. I only leave this floor to work out. I'm only allowed to go out in the streets if I have a bodyguard. And by the way, being famous, I don't go out all by myself. But I can't even go out just to get a breath of fresh air. I'm not allowed to leave this floor.
Jesus. Joseph, do we know how long Wendy is forced to live under these conditions?
Well, it's been 2 years plus too long. Think about this. Think of what she just said to you. Listen to her talk. She's a great person. People love her. I agree with you. Aside from representing President Trump, Wendy Williams is the one I've gotten the most reaction from. Yeah. And unlike representing President Trump, I had some lunatics, threatening to kill me or something like that. With Wendy, it's all we love Wendy. And the crazy part is, she just said what she just said, and I couldn't have said it better, which is why Wendy's Wendy. She is on a floor with people who don't know their own names, Sid, who don't know if a red light or green light is when they should cross. They're dangerous to themselves. Wendy is on the floor with them. She is, and by the way, it's not like the state's paying for it. When you're in prison, the state pays for it, okay?
Right.
Wendy has less freedom of movement than prisoners. Yet she's paying for this ridiculously expensive place where she could be living in her own. It's the whole thing is so despicably unjust, and it drives me crazy. And then it begs two questions. With this new medical report that they're trying to keep, God forbid they should let her return home. And look, Wendy's been through some issues. She said it about alcoholism and all that stuff. She doesn't have dementia where you can't remember certain things or anything.
No.
She's as good as can be. There's two questions, though, Sid, and I want the answers. One, where is this medical report that everyone's talking about that was leaked to the press in violation of the federal HIPAA laws, okay? In violation of Wendy's human rights. Where is this report, and who is this doctor that signs this report? Name the doctor, show me that report, show proof, and face me in court.
You know what's interesting? You're right. Right. I know you'll shred them. And Wendy Silber, what's interesting, you talk about Trump, and Wendy, you know this too, because Wendy keeps up with everything from her prison. She knows, there's so many people out there trying to kill Trump every day, both figuratively and literally, from judges to other politicians. Between the judges, who are completely unfair to Wendy, to this doctor who's completely unfair to Wendy, to the Guardian,
unknown doctor, Sid, unknown doctor,
right? To the Guardian, who's unfair to Wendy. It's almost like President Trump, Wendy, in that there's a lot of people in and around you every day that are trying to make sure you never get out.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you something. I also get these strange pills, and I just want to tell you, and I've said, I guess, privately, but there are only two that I know that I take that I've had all of my life, practically. The other 6, I throw them away, period. I don't know what these pills are, and I don't care. I went out to CVS, and I bought my own multivitamins. So I have multivitamins, and I have these 2 pills, and one is thyroid, and one is Linzess. You shut up. Don't make a big deal over Linzess. Shut up.
That's funny. So do you have any real communication, Wendy, on a consistent basis with the Guardian, these other people, or are you basically just locked away?
No. Well, why would I call the Guardian? I want out of guardianship. I want to go on with my life. What do I have to say to the Guardian other than, excuse me, can you please tell me what your attorneys at my expense are saying about me going to the hospital? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because my attorneys don't know anything. And I have a team, and Joe Tacopina is the man of all mans.
He is the greatest. You don't have to convince me, I know. So people ask me too, Wendy, and if you don't want to answer, you don't have to because I'm putting you in a tough spot. I realize that. But they go, what about the ex-husband? Does he have access to Wendy's money? Does he make decisions?
I don't even want to go into that, just let me get out of guardianship, but there's a whole lot of fighting for people who are trying to fight me, and that was just going to leave it at that, It's not just the Guardian, but
it's a lot of people. Right.
Yeah.
So Joseph, when we talk about the prospects, realistic prospects, because we want Wendy to be upbeat and happy and in a good mood. She's being, once again, folks, falsely imprisoned. Listen carefully. Falsely imprisoned. This is complete nonsense. And I would hope, the mayor's office actually reached out to me. It's a true story. The mayor's office, Wendy, reached out to me yesterday and said, how can we help? So a lot of folks in this city want to help you. What are the prospects? You're welcome, Joseph, for getting Wendy out of there.
Yeah, well, they're good. Listen, there's the lawyers inside the guardianship proceeding, which have to be approved by both the guardian and the court. Guess who that will never be? Me. The last person they want to see in that courtroom is me. However, Wendy is entitled to a jury at some point as a sort of a form of an appeal. When that happens, when that bell rings, if that bell rings, that's what I do, and I'll be there. So I say if they have evidence, present it in court under oath, and I'll be there waiting. I'll be there waiting because I will annihilate. This is so infuriating to me. But the prospects are, according to Alan Diamond, her in-court guardianship attorney, he's saying to me, to the family, to Wendy, late October, before the end of the year, she should be out of this thing.
Oh, wow.
Okay? That's still too long.
That's right.
Another day in that place is too long.
Yeah.
But if that's really going to happen, Sid, we'll deal with that. And then we will hold those responsible accountable. I promise you. But let's get her out.
Yes.
So let's get her out.
Yeah. So, Wendy, when that day comes, and it's coming, folks, it is coming. You heard Joseph Tacopina. That man never loses, okay? Never. He's Sandy Koufax. When that day comes and you get out, I would hope that you're going to resurrect what was the most entertaining daytime talk show in the history of television, whether it's television or radio. Do you plan, Wendy Williams, on going right back into the entertainment industry?
Well, first of all, my whole thing was that I was going to stop working in my 50s because I have enough money so I could travel and this, that, and the third. But now, being in guardianship, and by the way, it's easy to go back to work. It's easy to make money. And yes, I do love radio. And no, I'm not going back on TV. I've done that. That's it. I want to do my own hair, makeup, and wardrobe, unless I'm going on like Jimmy Kimmel, where I have to, get fancy. You know what I'm saying? Like it was fun for all those years. I love the people when I was doing the Wendy Williams show. I still actually have friends of mine from the show, that I've seen since being in guardianship. But that's not my life. But life going back, it's easy. And it's right here in New York City. And I'm glad that I have, as a friend of you, Sid, because I've known you for so long.
Well, I'm glad to, and I think you're great. I really do. And look, you started with radio right before you became a big TV star. You were one of the most popular DJs in New York radio history, so you'd be going back to the beginning, to the roots there, Wendy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always wanted. When I was in college in Boston, WRBB was right there in the campus. I always wanted radio, even as a child. I was 7 years old, and I told my parents, look, I want radio, and I want it here in New York, and that's it.
And you did
I won. And now I'm losing because I'm on this floor paying all this money. And I'm glad that I got a team of attorneys and my lead man, Joe.
Yeah. So, Joe, I know you got to run to Phoenix today, but give me this. What is next? We'll get one apiece in with you and Wendy. What is next in this battle? Again, we're talking about possibly getting out in October, but what's the very next thing you need to do for Wendy?
She needs to complete the diagnosis from the neutral doctors, the honest doctors who are going to make a diagnosis. Our preliminary indications, being that we're all violating HIPAA laws, the preliminary indications are that she's come back with a absolutely stellar report. Okay, her diagnosis is not consistent, and I've spoken to the doctors, not consistent with any form of dementia. So whatever doctor is creating this report, I really would love to see it, but it's not real. It's not, and if it is, it's junk medicine. So what's next is we get the diagnosis completed, we get into court, and straighten this thing out. Like we're talking about within weeks and months, not years anymore. It's over.
Can I just say something? I do a lot of researching on my iPad. By the way, my guardian person did not want me to have an iPad. She went to the judge, and the judge said, yes, let Wendy keep her iPad. So I still have my iPad. So, with the iPad, while I'm, watching TV, listening to radio, and being in this dump, thank goodness. So, yeah, I do my own research on frontotemporal dementia and aphasia, that these things that I'm being accused of having. Please.
Not even close. So on the way out,
guardianship, please. Let me get out of guardianship and let me move on with my life, please, in peace and harmony.
That's not unfair. So on the way out, Wendy, there's a lot of people listening right now, a lot. And I mean all over this country, all over the world. I got people from Tel Aviv that were excited to hear you this morning. What is your message to your adoring fans, Wendy Williams? What do you want to say to them?
Follow my trail. I'm getting out of guardianship. And I'm going to be working, and it's going to be delicious. Look, thank you, everybody. Look, really, I need your support because it is me, myself, and I on this floor. It's me, myself, and I talking to these people. It's me, myself, and I with a landline phone. My family loves me, and don't get me crying. I got to say, stop. My family is my lovely family.
Your niece is awesome, and Eric is great, too. They're both wonderful people.
Oh, my God. And my son, whose birthday was on the 18th, he celebrated. I was, so happy. With my son, of course, that's my son, but I tried to keep him out of the minutia going on, the crap.
Yep.
Getting out of guardianship.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, you sounded great this morning, and I'm sure your fans are so happy to hear you. And I've been telling them how great you sound, but now they heard it, Wendy Williams. Now there's no arguing that you are great, you're healthy, and ready to return.
Thank you, everybody, and have a nice remainder of the day.
You too, Wendy. And Joseph, I know you're on your way out of here, but, you've been coming on this show for a while saying, hey, I'm with Wendy a lot. I speak to Wendy a lot. Now they just heard her. Okay, now they just heard her. Can anyone doubt, can anyone argue that is a very, very lucid Wendy Williams?
Right, Sid? I mean, that's a human being who is has her movements restrained. Not because she's committed any crime or is a felon. I mean, felons have a little more freedom than Wendy Williams. But that woman that you just all heard, has her movements restrained, cannot make decisions for herself, has to get approval to go out and get a lunch or a coffee. I mean, it's scary stuff. Not in this country. This should not be this way, and we have to fix it. I mean, really, we're talking about in a word, a false diagnosis, a privacy violation, and a complete disgrace.
Well, she's lucky to have you, my friend. Have a safe trip to Arizona. You'll be back on this show, of course, as you are every Friday, doing a great job. But that was an amazing job today, Joseph Tacopina. We love you. Thank you so much.
Okay, brother. Love you. Bye-bye.
Joe Tacopina right there and Wendy Williams. We'll take a short break. Now you've heard it, folks. Now, I mean, I've been saying it for months, right? I've talked to her on the phone about 10 times. I've had lunch with her. There's nothing wrong with this lady. Nothing. She's better now because, she had a sobriety issue 4 years ago. And, she would kind of hop off every now and then. But she's sober. She's lucid. And this is absolutely a crime.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?